Hey everybody, it's Candy, aka Brown Eye Girl 69. How y'all doing? Well, I got out of my house today because the weather was awesome, wonderful, and amazing. As you can see, the sun's shining in on me. I'm heading home now. It's approximately 5:30 p.m. in the afternoon, and I'm heading down not a main highway but a state highway that connects small towns to small towns. And as I drive and cruise down this road and I see all the construction that's going on, I have thoughts that run through my head. One day, me and my daughter and her friend, we drove to this small town of Noble, and we came this way because it's the only way to come. And I told them that what they see here 20 years from now, it won't even be this way. I mean, 20 years from now, everything that's all up and down this highway right now is a lot of construction stuff, a lot of bare dirt getting, flattened out and land cleared, etc., etc. But a new home housing additions kind of building up too. But eventually, this is going to be turned into a 4-laner. And there's going to be all sorts of strip malls up and down the way with all sorts of little shops and blah, 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 blah. It just makes me really wonder, why can't we just... Why is expansion such a thing? Why is raping of the land such a thing? Because that's what I consider it. I consider it a rape of the land, because here we are just hourly expanding when in reality, if people were given the opportunity to have land wherever they wanted, enough land to build a house on, to sustain them and a family or a family to come, instead of always having us in these housing additions where everything's so this way or that way. You have a HOA, so you have rules that you have to adhere to. Everybody's house pretty much looks the same. Daryl used to call them cardboard castles. And, that was another thing that got me thinking, why, so many people say, oh, you ought to buy a house because it's so much cheaper than renting. That's true. That's true. It is cheaper than renting. But what if you don't want to live in a house in the same town, same state for 30 years, I moved around enough with renting, and let me tell you, I had enough stuff to probably fill a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. And even if I would have had a home, I would have had to sell it. And then I have, and it was just as hard to just rent a place, and then when it was time to move to a new place, to get a U-Haul and pack it all up and move to the new place, unpack, blah 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 blah. I can't imagine doing it with a house. But some people, like me, are like that. I prefer to travel and go to different places and see different things. And even though I haven't traveled since 2020 into 2021 on any extensive level, that still doesn't mean that the idea of traveling isn't in my blood, I would love to be able to travel again. I was even thinking today about, how Daryl and I traveled and how our journey started basically in January of 2012. Ironic, 13 years ago, and that's how many years he and I shared together. But how our journey started in 2012 when I had to sell my car, and then we moved to a community get to and from where we needed to be. But you had to really plan your time, because once you rely on public transportation, you definitely have to be prepared to leave 2 to 2.5 hours, depending on where you're at, to get to your destination. Because you got to take in consideration the bus and how long it's going to take to get you from point A to point B. And then you got to make sure you're at the bus stop in plenty of time before the bus even gets there, so you're not getting left behind. Because the next bus might not come along for another 15, 20, 30 minutes, Same way with your catching like a light rail, subway, whatever, That's the one thing that I can say actually taught me how to be on time and to be prompt, was having to rely on public transportation and my own 2 feet. I've traveled a lot of ground across this great big place called the United States of America, and I've seen a lot. And I've traveled long distances, short distances. I've hitchhiked. I've gotten ride shares off the internet, off Craigslist, whatever, Facebook groups. I've caught little, small to-do type company buses called Megabus, was one of them that operated within a certain area that would give you rides from, say, Dallas to Austin, or Austin to San Antonio for a fairly decent price. But I just started thinking all these things, as I'm driving, and thought I'd share. It was a really beautiful day today. I went and washed my car, and then I went to Dutch Bros, and I basically vacuumed out my car, washed my car, and then I detailed my windows a little bit more than normal. And at least my car got a little bit of a bath. I have to return to work tomorrow, Wednesday, the 26th, and go back to work Wednesday and Thursday, and then I'll be out Friday and Saturday. And it's supposed to be nice all week, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. Friday, I'm thinking I need to go and get me my oil changed in my car. It's time again. And that's about it. I'm actually starting to think maybe I should do some, do something to where I drive around, because there are a lot of small towns where I live, and I can drive around and go to small towns and make videos about those places. But there's a lot of people on the internet that already do those kinds of things. Or just drive around the country roads and give my thoughts and opinions on different subject matters that come to mind. But yeah, today I think I've been trying to look at things from a different perspective in regards to when I was in Norman earlier, and it was kind of busy, actually, as I rolled down the main roads and looked at individual people, and I, just wished everybody well. Another thing that happened to me while I was sitting at one of the lights by the college, there's a row of these houses that face out onto the main road, and the college is just right there. And I looked, and I seen this kid sitting in one of the doorways there while he was standing there in the doorway. And I noticed that he had a bubbler in his hand, and then he put fire to it. So he was definitely smoking some weed. So I rolled my window down and hollered out at him. I was like, "Hey, man! Woo-woo! 420!" And he was like, "Yeah, woo!" And there's this other kid comes running across the street. I hollered at him. I was like, "You better hurry and get up there, Bubba, and get you a hit. Take the drag off that." He's like, "Hell yeah." So that was, oh shit. There was the city of Purcell as I was taking a rip off my vape, but he probably didn't think nothing of it. Because there's all sorts of looking vapes, nicotine vapes out there nowadays that you wouldn't know if it was a THC vape or a regular one. Wow. So I've been chit-chatting for 11, 12 minutes. Well, it's taking me that long to get to my house. And I'm getting where I'm rolling up here. Getting ready to roll into my parking space. Come home. Try to get ready for my work day tomorrow. And prepare food for tonight as well as tomorrow. And chillax the rest of the evening. I did have lunch with my daughter today at Bravo's Mexican. Her birthday was on February 20th. And as far as my last video talking about my health issues, I do have a doctor's appointment for the 5th of March. So that I can definitely get looked at, followed up on my ER visit, and see what the next step's going to be. But as far as my condition, as far as what my condition was a few days as to what it is today, it's definitely weakened. It's definitely weakened as to, you know, how bad it was a few days ago in comparison. So I'm really glad that I'm able to get all that taken care of. And that's about the extent of my life right now. Just working, trying to get my health under control. Spending as much time as I can with my kids. Whether it's with them separately, together, with my grandbabies, however it is, you know. I did see my mother the other day for probably the first time since since Christmas. I think I've seen her since Christmas. But it might have been since Christmas. But I had to go pick up my grandbabies over there at her house the other day, so I see my mother as well. So pretty much all the people that's really near and dear to me in my surrounding area, I'm caught up with. Anyways, much love, peace, love, hugs, nugs, all that good stuff. I don't have my normal bubbler that I would utilize, but I do have my chillin' with some pot, so I'll take a rip and dip here. My neighbor just came out. He's sitting there smoking a cigarette. So, anyways, much love, and until the next time, I'm out.